Well, welcome everyone.
We're here.
We've got a new setup, as you've probably seen, where we're sitting at a table, which is great because I love being this close to Nathan. And we can't see any of the technology whatsoever because there's lighting in the way now. So we don't really know when we to start. And Josiah, the producer, gives us some hand signals that we can't see either. So it's...
But we're here now.
We're here now and we've started. Hey, today we continue our look at focusing our faith on how to share the gospel with those around us. And we've got the cards, the one for 35 and the one for 80.
Yep.
Hopefully everyone's got one. If you haven't, pick one up on Sunday. They're at the welcome desks and put it down and write a name of someone who you want to see come to faith this year.
Yeah. Have you got your person?
I have.
Great.
I have. And I think I've got a person and a whole team.
Okay.
So I've got one person I am praying for, but I've got my whole basketball team as well that I'm going to be praying for as well, just because, why not?
So did you pick up 6 cards or something? Or?
No. I just, with the one card, I remember them all.
Yeah,
so
good. Very good.
But that's fun. So today we're going to be talking about invitation, really, and how we can invite people along, and specifically how we can invite people along to Alpha, because we've got an Alpha coming just after Easter.
Yes, we do.
And we'd love that to be packed out. We'd love for that to be full of people. And the only way that it will be full of people is if we, the church, get up the courage to invite people along.
Yeah, and we've done Youth Alpha a few times back when I was leading youth. Found that to be really helpful. And basically Alpha, if you haven't done it before, is a very easy way of kind of seeing where people are at with their faith, while also kind of going through some of the basics of what does it mean to be a Christian? Who is Jesus? What has he done for us? And they have this wonderful time called the Holy Spirit Weekend where I think it's generally where there's a lot of people that give their life to Christ on that weekend.
Last one we had someone give their life to Christ during that.
Yeah, but it's a good space for people who want to experience the Holy Spirit to have that experience.
Yeah, it is, and so it's a great thing, and the joy of it is that it is a journey. It's not saying this is what you got to believe.
Yeah.
But it's saying this is what Christians believe, and what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And so it's inviting people to explore what they believe, how they think, and to get a fairly rounded understanding of the Christian faith at the same time. So I love the fact that that it walks with people along that journey.
Yeah, and I'd say that this is one of the things that is it's another low-cost invitation, Last week we talked about people coming to your house, which has got a fairly big cost to it, or having dinner with someone. There's a bit of intimacy in that. But Alpha is one of those things that we put on as a church that you can bring them along to, go with them. There's food sorted, there's content sorted. You're just there to walk beside them, to journey with them, have those after conversations in the car when you drop them home, those kinds of things.
Yeah. And I think it's important that, when you are prepared to invite someone, that you're prepared to commit to walk with them on that journey, and not just say, "Hey, Alpha's on if you want to go," but say, "Will you come with me?" And I'll experience the whole course with you, even if you've done it, many times before. There is something beautiful, I think, about seeing a friend or a family member come to faith and you've walked alongside of them during that period.
Yeah, and Alpha is one of those things that even if you're you're thinking, I'll go with them, but I won't really enjoy it or experience much from it. Like, it was originally designed to be a discipleship course for Christians. So there's plenty in there that you can learn and grow in and refresh yourself on. So at the very least, if nothing happens for them, you can come and have a great time and experience God. And
and the videos are very well done, and very well produced.
I think they've just redone them actually, or they're going going to redo them.
Well, they've done what with some Australian content in it as
Yeah.
well, because it comes out of England.
Mm.
So I think we can have a fair bit of confidence that the whole night is going to be a good experience,
Yeah.
and people are going to be hooked up.
Mm.
So I suppose the question that we have today is, how do we invite people? How do we get up that courage? How do we know that someone's more likely to say yes than no?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's two ways that you can go. There's what I call the scattergun approach,
Yeah.
which is a scattergun basically shoots pellets everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that is, you just go up to everyone you know and say, hey, we're running Alpha. Do you want to come? That's the scattergun. And if you're that type of personality that can do that, go for it.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You might get, 4 out of 20 that say yes. And if you're cool with that, then by all means give that a go.
Yeah.
Some of the more reserved of us, though, might find that kind of rejection a little bit difficult. So what do you reckon some of the things we can do?
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it is you kind of have to practice it. You have to kind of practice, one, asking people, but also being rejected. Like there's a level of, you just have to be prepared that they might say no. And I think for me, part of it is the mental game that you play where you think, what happens if they say no? What's that going to do for my relationship with them? Or does that mean God's not at work here? Or are my chances of seeing them come to faith slim because they've said no to this? But if they don't say yes the first time, there's always going to be other opportunities. There's always going to be other ways God can work in their life. And it might just mean that they're not ready to take that step. They're not quite open to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, we should never take a no as an eternal no.
Yeah, yeah.
And life has a funny way of sending curveballs that open us up to new realities. And so someone who said no in the past will be very open to that. I was talking to someone the other week, grew up in the church, became a little bit jaded about it all, sort of drifted away. Would come if his mum nagged him to come with his family and stuff like that. God turned up in a dream.
Wow. Yeah.
And freaked him right out. And had what he would say, a profound encounter with God.
Yeah.
And so now he is going, okay, how do I, what do I do? How do I grow?
Yeah.
And so I said to him, I said, look, we're a church that loves to disciple people. Why don't you come along and we'll do that, because he's not going to church at the moment.
Yeah.
So, you never know how things are going to play out. Now, I'm not saying that everyone who says no, God's going to turn up in a dream with, but you just never know the circumstances and how they change. So we should always take no as a no for now, not a no forever.
Yeah, and one of the things that they talk about in Alpha is that people need a certain amount of contact with Christians to get them across the line.
20 touch points?
I think it's 12.
Oh, 12.
I think it was 6 and it's now 12 or something like that. But it's basically, they call it the clock hand of faith, where, different interactions with people of faith, different experiences, get them across that line. And so you might not, you might invite someone and they might say no, but you might be the 12th person. So the next person say, hey, we're running Alpha, would you like to come? They might say, actually, do you know what? I'm pretty ready for that.
Yeah.
But I'd also just say that, like, if you get so caught up in what happens if they say no, you're going to forget the beauty of what if they say yes. Like this could be a really life-changing experience for them. It could be the very first steps they take towards knowing Jesus.
Yeah, and imagine like if, we've got about 160 people in our church and about 120 that worship on a Sunday.
Yeah.
If half of us, had someone and invited along and they came to Alpha, there's a high potential that would reach this goal by June.
Yeah.
So I think we should come with a prayerful expectation that they say yes. So you can do a little bit of, groundwork. Like we've talked about this in the past. Ask them about how they feel about faith. You don't have to you know. And if they start to go, well, it's something I've been exploring, then you go, well, you know, my church is putting on Alpha. It will be really good for you to explore more.
Yeah.
If they come across it and go, oh, look, you know, I don't want a bar of it, can't. Then you might go, well, maybe not. But then pray and say, God, is this the right time?
Yeah, yeah.
And God will say, well, they're just putting on a front, ask them anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what we don't realize is that people are playing mind games with themselves and with God. And what I mean by that is they're going, God, if you're real, will you do A, B, or C?
Yeah.
Or if God wrote my name in letters on the front lawn, then I'll believe in him. So they're playing these mind games all the time and playing these games of saying if God is real. And sometimes, not all the time, but I imagine there are people who are saying, well, I'm going to say God, I know God until you do this.
Yeah.
And you might be the part of the to do this.
That's right.
So I'm going to give my friend Nathan all the cold shoulder I can about faith. But if he still comes back and says, will you explore it with me, then that's the deal, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that everyone does that, but I imagine, or maybe this is just me revealing a bit about myself.
Yeah.
But I did that before I became a Christian. You know, when I was exploring it, I was, you know, making up all these kinds of scenarios in my head.
Yeah.
To say, well, God, if you're real, you know. And so, you know, when I was coming to faith, I said, God, if anyone talks to me about faith, I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Okay. And so for 3 months, I went to a church and nobody talked to me about faith.
Wow. Yeah.
And then when I said, okay, God, I think you're real, I want to explore you, within 2 days, someone started a conversation about faith with me.
Yeah.
You know? And so God's not oblivious to those sorts of mind games that we play.
Yeah, and at the same time, you have to continue to assume that if God's put them on your heart, if they're the person you're going for, then there's reasons behind that. Then, you know, God's going to be at work, and you'll probably find pretty quickly if he is at work or not, or if they're receptive to him or not. But we have the opportunity to be the answer to our own prayer.
That's right.
You know, or the answer to their prayers that we don't even know that they're praying.
So I think there's some ways that we can put some feelers out. But I think, you know, we have to come back to continuing to listen to God and to his spirit about who we are to invite. And God knows what's happening in people's hearts and what God's already been doing there. And if he says, yes, invite them, then by all means invite them. If he says, no, this is not the time, then don't push forward, you know, hang back.
Yeah.
I think, though, anyone who's showing interest, anyone who's showing what I like to call the fingerprints of God at work in their lives, I think that should be an automatic invitation. So, you know, if you've offered to pray for someone and they've accepted it, or you're reading the Bible with someone, we haven't talked about that yet, but we will, then they're an automatic invitation because you already see that they're interested and they're wanting to explore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when it comes to Alpha, there's some things we should always realize is that one, like when you invite them to Alpha, it doesn't mean that you are signing up to immediately bring them to faith in Jesus. And so you have to be prepared with knowing what to do straight away. But you're coming to bring them into a community of people all journeying together.
Yep.
So you're not alone for one. There's going to be other Christians that are a part of Alpha that are going to be leading it. They're going to be walking beside you.
Yep.
And presumably if the people who are inviting those who are going to Alpha are going with them, there'll also be other people from church who are going to be there.
That's right. There's a whole cohort or community there, and there'll be many people there that will be like your friends or your family members who will be exploring it and asking questions. There's small group times where you can go in a little bit more depth. And so it's very well put together, very well thought through, and I think, you know, we can't recommend it highly enough. It is the number one vehicle that God is using in Australia at the moment to bring people to faith.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we want to hop on that train and go for a ride as well.
Yeah.
And as we said, last Alpha, we saw people come to faith, and we were praying and expecting that for this Alpha as well.
Yeah. So, and we're also getting some cards printed, I think, soon that will hopefully, it's always easier to give someone something so they can think about it as well.
And there's plenty of invitational videos on YouTube. If you just type in Alpha Invitation, it will come up that you can send people. We have some social media posts that you can send to friends if you want to. So we're going to do what we can to make it easy for you to invite your friends along, because Alpha is only successful when the people in the church invite their non-Christian friends or family members to explore.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that we wanted to kind of maybe finish this video with was we want to come back to prayer as kind of the primary thing we want to be doing for this person in our life. Like, we want to be praying day in, day out, week in, week out for these people to come to faith in Jesus.
Yeah, and that's why we put the prayer on the front cover, is to just, to simply say, God, will you bless them? Will you work in their life? Will you become real to them? Will you, and I would include, will you take away anything that is a barrier for them to explore who you are?
Yeah. Because
we have many lies or beliefs that we've picked up during the journey that can stop us from believing in God. And so, for my person, they very much have a barrier of some of the understandings of faith that make it hard for them to understand.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, God, will you pierce through those walls and those barriers and bring your truth into their heart for them to explore?
Yeah.
God can't make people believe. People are going to choose to believe, but there are blockages that people have put up, or walls that people have put up that need to be knocked down before they'll explore it.
Yeah.
And our prayer is the main vehicle in which those walls come down.
Yeah, and I think if you're planning on inviting this person to Alpha and going with them, like, be praying in the lead up to that. Lord, would you make space for them to receive this invitation? Would you soften their hearts to hear it and to want to be open to it?
Free up their calendar for the night that it's on.
Yeah.
All those things. It's tilling the soil for the seed to be able to hit and flourish.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, I particularly want to keep on encouraging you to not just pray for the first week and then forget to pray, because that can be really easy for some of us to do, but to keep prayer at the top and the foremost of the most important thing you can do in the person that you want to see come to faith life.
Yeah, and I think the more that you pray for people, the more you get passionate about seeing them move, and you're going to start to see little pieces of God at work.
Little threads.
Yeah. You'll pray a specific prayer and then you'll see something happen and you'll be able to point it out to them, or, have your faith encouraged.
That's right. And again, we want to work on the truth that if God has put this person on your heart, then God wants to see them come to faith.
Yeah.
Or he would not have put them on your heart.
Yeah.
So pray knowing that God is with you and God is wanting to use you to see this person explore and ultimately enter his love.
Yeah, and we've got the prayer room coming up on Saturday, and there's going to be a whole station on this.
Yep.
So there'll be a place for us to put our names that we're praying for, and for us to join together as a church to pray over each other's names and those people. So really want to encourage you to press into prayer this year for this person.
Yeah, and sometimes we can feel like prayer is, the difficult thing, or the thing that is, just an added extra, but it is the most powerful thing we can do.
Yeah, prayer is the work, is what people say.
That's right, prayer is the work, yeah. So we really want you to be thinking and praying and looking to take up this opportunity that Alpha brings, as well as just continuing with our 1 for 35 and 1 for 80. So until we see you next week, I hope this has been helpful for you. God bless.